Now we have to go out there and kind of see what's going on and where we might go from this point forward. So today is August 9th, or yeah, September 9th. Hope everyone's having a good time out there. And just so you guys know who I am, if you want to find out more information about me and the services I offer, come over here to profitpilot.com. And if you guys are new to this Facebook, YouTube, anything like that, I've been getting some questions like, hey, how do I find you? How do I get notified when you come on and do these things? Well, you need to make sure you hit the like and the subscribe button. That way you can engage, interact, and you can actually, it'll pop up for you, and that way you won't miss this. The other thing is these are all recorded. They stay on our Simplers, Facebook, and YouTube, and my Periscope. So go ahead and check that out. If you guys want to be able to look at any of the old ones too, you can do that there. They all stay recorded once this live session is done. Now today we're going to go through the market. It would be great if you guys had some questions, anything in particular that you are looking at, because it's a mixed market out there. We're just coming off the lows. We need to start finding out if this is the first bounce and what kind of names are out there, which ones are leading, which ones are hot. And I'm relying on you today to maybe kind of bring some of these to my attention. So I want to see what you all are looking at. So feel free to throw those in the comments section. Going at the first part, what we're looking at, let's get there we go, the S&P. Now the market went down even further in the overnight, and in the overnight it did actually hit the daily 50. Now we don't see that in the regular trading hours, so we just know that it's there. Today's back up. This is kind of what I've been expecting. We had two really big down days, Thursday, Friday, going into the 3-day weekend, and then yesterday was it was a down day, but it wasn't too bad. And I just definitely didn't want to be going short on anything yesterday, because after 3 days of going down and pretty much at the daily 50, the Qs were at the daily 50. Short side's probably over for a bit. So now we're looking for price to bounce up. We're looking for price to kind of drift to the upside. Be warned though, because I'm concerned that this bounce up might be bringing us into short territory, something where we need to actually start shorting the bounces as opposed to buying the dips. Just a heads up about that out there. What I'd be looking at for generally is, what is price going to do with this downtrending hourly 50? Is it going to hit it exactly and roll over? Is it going to go up over it and kind of meander a little bit and then roll over? These are the things that I need to find out. And I've been telling people I'm modeling most of this after our June experience, where the first bounce was near the daily 50 and then the next one was actually at the daily 50. So we're going to have to see what that does. The other thing is, think about the concept of what's going on here. We've had a massive run over the last few months since the March lows on COVID. This is fantastic. This is really great. We are due for a pullback. But then also think, we're in September, which is historically a weak month for the market. And then we have not only that, we have the November presidential elections. Now, whoever wins, whatever team you're on, it doesn't matter. The point is that there is an unknown, a big unknown about the direction of the country based on who wins. And the market, I think the big players are looking at this and saying, we probably want to cash in and pull in some profits, and then maybe we'll just sit on the sidelines and things will kind of chop around until we actually know who won for the presidential election. So I think that September is probably going to be a down month, like we've had our first down. I think there's going to be a bounce, and then I think we kind of roll over and retest some lows again. And then I have a feeling that October might just be a whole bunch of chop until the election. That is my thought. We'll have to see how it goes. Definitely not making any predictions about how it's going to go. I just think that that is a theme to think about. So we look at the Qs. If I can type them correctly. Here we go. 10% in 3 days. Wow. That was a really, really big move down. And it, as you said, hit the daily 50. It was really, really overbought. We kind of saw this. We saw the UVXY going up. We saw all these things telling us, look, this is going to be a problem. But same thing with the SPY. I'm wondering what price is going to do about the hourly 50 now that it is in a downtrend. So be careful about that. Then we go over to UVXY, which is volatility. And what I'm looking at this is clearly it went up and it ran into the daily 200, and it's trying to navigate the daily 50. But what I'm looking at is the daily 8 is over the 21, so that's progress to the upside. And then also what I'm seeing now, and actually I was projecting that this was going to happen, is price is below the hourly 50, but the Moxie indicator is above 0. That's starting to get into trampoline territory. Now, there's no way I'm just going to buy this right here just because of that. But what it's telling me is this might be starting to set up for a high buoyancy, high pressure move to the upside eventually. Going to have to see how that pans out. It's nowhere near right now. And then we look at the actual VIX. I've been doing some writing on this, and it was just pretty much overbought. It was really high, and look, it's now coming back down to the hourly 50, and as of yesterday, it was underneath the 15-minute 50. So I could see that all this was likely to start moving down. The volatility was going to start moving down, which told me it's likely the market is going to start moving up, and that is what we started to see. Now, let me show you Workhorse, because this, along with Nikola, I think are looking very interesting. So I really like the 15-minute 50. I like the 15-minute time frame to start and engage with moves. And yesterday, price bounced off of that moving average, and today it looks like it's holding it. So I do like Workhorse. I think this thing, as long as it keeps holding the 15-minute 50, we've got a few days of upside movement on that one. With that, NKLA, you can see that it had a big move yesterday over the weekend. It came out that Nikola is going to be partnering with GM, so they're a big electric truck company. And big pullback. We went in yesterday. I was trying to take just a big momentum trade, going to see if this thing has any juice left in it. Not too surprised that it's pulling back. At the time, I did set our stop down here below the 15-minute 50. So, based on my kind of trading, if this works out, I need it to bounce off of the 15-minute 50, which is now above my stop. So, I'm feeling okay about it. It is a bigger percentage that it has to go down, but it's also a bigger percentage moving stock. So, if you're going to be playing something that could maybe move 50%, well, you might have a larger stop because there's just more movement involved. But that's where I'm looking at, and fingers crossed, hopefully it keeps working out today and it finds some support like that. Now, Marina, yes, space. I have been looking into this one. We had a lot of discussion about it yesterday. And I am thrilled to see when stocks like this do that. I'm really happy to see that they almost spring out of nowhere and really start moving up like that. But yesterday is not the day to go buy something like that. You can see kind of what we've had the same situation with Nikola, is that not always when price really starts to move up significantly that it's going to really carry through and follow the next day. Not always. And so we look at this, and that's why yesterday I said, nah, I'm not so sure I want to go in here. And then you can see by the end of the day it did pull back. I did put a paper trade on here. We didn't go in as a group because I wasn't quite sure that it was ready. I still saw some issues. Mostly what I saw was the daily chart. The 8 is still below the 21, so I don't see that as being ready or ripe. I think that there's still some more work that has to be done right there. And then the other thing I see is we're having to deal with the hourly 200. Everything else, though, looks pretty good. I like this thing. I like to see that it is starting to set up. You can see price down, Moxie indicator up, so there's a divergence, and we got a Moxie price trigger today, so that's great. We also have the daily 200 as support. So yeah, I am really looking at this thing very closely. At this point, if this is going to work right now, I need price to hold the hourly 50, and I'd really like to see price hold the 15-minute 50. So I might be checking back on this one later today, and if those hold, then I need to see price get past the hourly 200. That's kind of my process for this one to see if that starts to move up. All right, then, yeah, Wall Street, let's see, gold, so NG. Yep, I've been talking about this one for a while. I'm just trying to figure out where to get in on something like this. I didn't really want to be going in last week. It was at the hourly 50. That is a pretty typical place that I like to get in on something. But I wasn't so sure. I didn't want to go get into something before the weekend. I was very happy to just be 100% in cash because I just didn't know what was going to go on for 3 days, and I didn't want to deal with it. But now we're looking at this. It is continuing to make its move up, so happy about that. I did see also NGD, much cheaper, but doing the same kind of thing. It keeps kind of moving up. And I'd like to see a pullback in order for me to get into this. I'd like a pullback to the hourly 50 if I'm going to get on something like this one. And then if we look at GDX, because I like to play GDX, I like to play Nugget, and I've been talking about this one, and again, just kind of looking for an entry. I'm not too much in a rush because, well, it hasn't been doing anything lately. And what we can see here, there is a level and there is positive divergence on the Moxie indicator, so that's great. And yesterday it did bounce off the 15-minute 50, which is the start to what I need to see in order for price to, get going and moving up like that. The other thing I do like is I was looking to see if price was going to bounce off of the daily 50. That was sometime last week. It bounced, but it didn't hold. So now what I'm looking at is, hey, there's a trampoline move. And trampoline move is when price is below the 50, but the Moxie indicator is above 0. And now that I think about it, for those of you who are wondering, who am I, what is the Moxie, what is all this kind of stuff, you come over here to profitpilot.com, click on services, and if you guys want my trade alert service, you can go over here to subscription, Moxie Mastery, get that. And then you can do the Moxie stock method, which is the class, the indicator, scanner, all that kind of stuff that I use in order to trade, and that's where you can find out more information about it. Well, let's see. So Wall Street, yeah, you're asking the daily momentum is coming down. Yes, well, that's because, look, price on GDX is just going sideways. So when there's a lack of momentum fades. That's okay. That's all right. What I'm looking at, though, is the momentum is still positive. It's still above 0. You can see the 0 line is right here. This is the 0 line. And right now, even though it's coming down, because price is going sideways, there's no momentum, but it's still positive. And in fact, what we're now looking at is, well, there's a squeeze. Got a little bit of squeeze here on the hourly, and the stochastic keeps kind of trending up. I don't often use the stochastic, but it's kind of back there. And I do like that we have progress being made here with the 15-minute 50. I'd like to see price stay over the hourly 50. And probably from this point, I need to see price generally stay over the daily 50. Otherwise, this thing's going to chop around a little bit more, and I just don't want to be in it if it's going to chop like that. Silver, I think silver has more potential to the upside, but it looks less ready to go. What I have been seeing is there is price down slightly. There's the Moxie indicator doing a double bottom, so we are starting to see some divergence, but it is further away from its daily 50, and so I'm not so sure if price is really going to be able to run from here, unlike GLD and GDX, which are already at or just bouncing off of their daily 50. So those are a little bit more ripe, a little bit further along. Generally, I'd probably see price bounce off the hourly 50 for now for silver. So we're going to see about that. And then Wall Street, you said HPQ. I think, yeah, I just had somebody look at that yesterday, and I said, actually, it looks pretty decent. You can see here that it was a little overbought because price was outside of third ATR. Came in here to the daily 21 EMA, so that's usually a pretty good place for price to bounce. And then just like what I was showing on GDX about that trampoline move on the daily chart, here is an hourly trampoline move. It's when price dips below the hourly 50, but the Moxie indicator stays above 0. What that's telling you, if you guys aren't familiar with Moxie and all this, is that the indicator is saying, hey, momentum is still positive. I still want to be up. I'm still in positive range. And price is just doing whatever it wants to do, and yeah, it dipped below the 50, but it shouldn't be there. It should bounce back up. And that's why I call it a trampoline move, because you just kind of jump in it and then shoot back up like that. And so this looks pretty good. Yeah, HPQ, I'd say so far everything I'm seeing is good. Doesn't mean it's going to work, but right now, as long as it can keep bouncing off this 15-minute 50, Moxie indicator's looking good, stay above the hourly 50, everything looks pretty good. It looks like it wants to start moving up. So yeah, HPQ looking fairly decent. Another one that I have been looking at, Beyond Meat, and as John likes to call it, Beyond Flesh. So looking at this, a little tough on this one. I would imagine that price is trying to get past the daily 50. It sure looks like it's trying to. The 8 is also over the 21, all that kind of stuff, and we do have this level that it doesn't seem to want to go down below. All right, good news. Here was a trampoline move. See, shot up, Moxie indicator above 0. And then here we go. Here's another trampoline move. Price below the 50, the Moxie indicator above 0. Yesterday, not a place that I really want to go in. You can see here I put a little paper trade line just so us as a group, because I had a live trading session. I want people to look at this and say, well, where are we at? Did it work? Did it not? And so we looked at that, and it was still a little bit too far away from the 15-minute 50. I wasn't super confident about it. And today, it's great. It's going sideways. Maybe today will actually bounce off of the 15-minute 50, and by the close of today, then I'll know better. But so far, it doesn't look like I've missed out on anything, and that's why I wanted to give it an extra little day to see what's going on, because yesterday was the razor's edge as to, is the market going to go up? In fact, the market closed on its lows yesterday and only bounced up today. So today is kind of like, okay, now we're starting to look long. Yesterday could have been a guess, and technically in the overnight, the market did continue to go down until it found that daily 50 and then bounced. Let's see, UPS. We looked at FedEx the other day, and I said FedEx was looking a little overbought. My concern here is right now the MOXY indicator is significantly below zero, so I'm a little cautious about that. Kind of like what I was telling Wall Street here is that when price goes sideways, there's no momentum, and so momentum fades. And what I've been seeing a lot of times is, since this has really just been going sideways like this, momentum's come out of it. In certain situations, I've had to ignore the hourly MOXY indicator until something else gets moving like that because of this situation. Now, UPS, I personally would have been out right here at the hourly 50, because price should not be over the 50 if the indicator is below zero. And so if it breaks the 50, I'm out. That's where I would have been out. Right now, the best thing I could say here is price going to hold the hourly 200? It seems like it could. There is a double bottom. I am seeing some divergence on the 15-minute 50, and price is over the 15-minute 50. So that's kind of where I'm at. If this thing's going to hold, it needs to hold the hourly 200. Hopefully, maybe it'll hold the daily 21 as well. But if it starts to break down on these things, if it can't stay over the 15-minute 50, if it starts to break down through the hourly 200, then I kind of move on for now, because what it might want to do is it might want to get closer to its daily 50, which is still a fair amount of distance away. Let's see, FedEx. Yeah, you can see the line. I had some people asking about this one the other day also. And first of all, earnings. So I don't like to trade earnings. So whatever happens on earnings, that's going to be whatever. And I said, this is pretty close. Price should not be over the 50 if the MOXY indicator is below zero. Okay. Well, I said if price can continue to at least hold the 50, then fine. We'll let it fudge for a little bit. And I said, really, I kind of needed to hold the 15-minute 200 as well. So this is kind of razor thin. If it can keep moving up along these moving averages and stay up here, then okay. But personally, with earnings right there, I don't want to be playing earnings. It could go up, it could go down, I don't know. And according to my instruments, we're kind of on some razor thin area here for FedEx. So if FedEx can't hold the 15-minute 200 or the hourly 50, then I got to move on from something like that. Now, I am getting signals, there we go, that Snapchat's doing pretty well. We have been playing this one a few times. So let me show you kind of how we ran through this. Let's see, we bought here, we added more here, and then on Thursday when the market did its thing, we exited here. So this was a really, really good trade. And then we just let the few days go by, totally just let it go by. And similar to Beyond Meat, I wanted to see, is it getting past the daily 50? It looks like it's getting past the daily 50. And we also had a trampoline move, two trampoline moves. Oh, I don't know, was that Monday and Friday? So price was below the hourly 50. The MOXY indicator was above zero, so high buoyancy move. And then I said, well, I think that there's something going on here. And if there is, here are my parameters. I need price to stay above the 15-minute 50, and the MOXY indicator is trending up. I need price to stay above the hourly 50, and so far, it is. It's doing a really, really good job. I'm very happy with this thing. You can see that there was a daily squeeze and an hourly squeeze, and this is, we're in this, we've been trading it, we've been making some good money in the MOXY group. Once more, if you guys are interested or wondering anything about me, over here, profitpilot.com, and you can go check out MOXY Mastery. This is where I give out my alerts and to my alert service subscribers. All right, STNE. probably not going to have much to say about this. This one's always been very, very choppy. Similar to what I've been saying for UPS and FedEx, notice the Moxie indicator has been below 0 this whole time. See the Moxie price trigger? Right. So in that case, price should not be over the 50 if the Moxie indicator is below 0. And what's it doing? Well, look at this. See the distance between price and the daily 50? It wanted to get closer to the daily 50. This is my concern with FedEx and UPS. So watch out for that. As of right now, I don't really see anything. This is a very choppy stock. I'm not really too keen on it. Maybe it will hold the hourly 200. Maybe it will hold the daily 50. Not super keen on this one. And then let's see, BILL. I got run over by this one last week. I saw a bunch of volume coming into this. Look at that. All this nice big volume right after earnings, and price was holding up right here. And at the time, it was a trampoline move. And I even thought, here, price is staying above the 15-minute 50 for the second day, and the Moxie indicator's moving up. So I had 2 positions on this, really looking for a good move. And on Thursday, it said nope, and it turned 100% the other direction. But that's okay. This is why I have stops. You can see my stop was right here, something above, what, $96. And so let's see what that was. On average, it was about 3.5% loss. No big deal. Because what did it do after that? If I didn't have a stop and you may be late to the game, this thing went down 16%. So that's why I say, hey, let's use our stops. We never know what's going to happen, and sometimes they will happen faster than you can respond. And for those of you who are working while you trade, maybe you're in a meeting. Maybe you got called and got something. You got to do something. You can't take care of your positions, and suddenly this happens. And within minutes, this thing drops and just keeps fading. This is why you need to run stops, because sometimes things happen faster than we can react and do something about it. The other thing is I do like to set alerts with Thinkorswim, but sometimes they don't always work. I had an alert on a LYV this morning, just below the open, and it went right through the open and didn't trigger. It never triggered. In fact, I came back to it. It just kept persisting. It didn't do anything. All right, let's see. Apple. Well, the markets are basically Apple, and Apple is basically the markets. So but keep that in mind. So 007, keep that in mind that they're pretty much all going to be moving the same. As I said, I'm wondering what is price going to do with this downtrending hourly 50 and the Moxie indicator is below 0. So be very aware of that. We've kind of, I think, gotten the first shot across the bow. Yeah, we're coming into some support, but I think we bounce, and then the question is, what do we do after that? Are we then going to come back down? And if we do, is it going to be a double bottom? Is it going to be an undercut? What's it going to do? But I'd be very careful on this move back up. Yes, we can trade the move back up. We don't know where it's going to go, but I have a feeling that once we kind of get up somewhere in here, we might roll over again. So careful with that one. But yeah, I'd be looking a little bit bearish on that kind of stuff. Some of the things, let me show you SQQQ. This is the leveraged inverse of the Qs, and check out the volume that is in this. There's a lot of volume. And then let me kind of get this scaled, because if our brains, our eyes are a little bit more attuned to the long side, then we need to look at stuff that kind of can show us what a long trade would be like. So right now, here's price running into the hourly 200. It's resistance, right? But then I'm looking for price to come back down, and the question is it going to bounce off of the hourly 50, or is it going to do just a slight push below the hourly 50, all of which, if it's below there, we have the Moxie indicator above 0, and this is a retest of some low area, and then I would actually be looking for price to go back up. So I'm looking for the SQQQ to go back up, I don't know, in a few days, couple weeks, however long this takes. And so that means I'm expecting the markets to roll over after they bounce. So just kind of keep that in mind. eBay. I don't think there's much to say about here. In fact, I cautioned people in through here. I said, look, price has not even touched the hourly 50. And I said, that's going to be a problem. It's going to want to come back down to it. It might do it in a hurry. And you can see, sure enough, once it broke the hourly 50, there's your Moxie price trigger to the downside. And then it followed the 15-minute 50 on down. I just don't see anything here. Maybe we get some divergence here. on the 15. It is over the 15-minute 50. It's still got a downtrending hourly 50, and it's still got a pretty big 8 below the 21 on the daily chart. Maybe there's a bounce, maybe there's a bump. I think you're kind of fighting against the current trend on this thing, and it's probably going to chop for a little bit. So I'm just not seeing much of interest on eBay. And then SPWR, SunPower. I tend to stay away from some just because of how they look and how choppy they are. SunPower kind of is going to be one of those. Yeah, I would imagine that price should bounce off the daily 50. Doesn't mean it's going to, doesn't mean it has to, but generally I would expect price to bounce off the daily 50. The MOXY indicator is still above 0, so we still have upward momentum. We have a squeeze, and the stochastic is doing a double bottom off of the lows. All that looks pretty good on the daily chart. I don't see any divergence on the hourly chart, price down, indicator down, so there's not much to say about that, but it does seem as though it's trying to make some progress. Notice how last time it could not get past the hourly 50. Maybe this time's a little bit different. And I do see divergence on the 15. Notice, price down, MOXY indicator up. MOXY indicator is real nice and tight, and it did just bounce off of the 15-minute 50. So if it can keep sustaining this and staying over the 15-minute 50, then we might actually have a move to the upside. I wouldn't be shorting this. I know that you're saying that, yeah, hourly looks like it's in a sell. I wouldn't be shorting this. I'm seeing indications that this does actually want to kind of move to the upside, but it needs to happen. So keep a close eye on these, a little bit of a short leash. If they start to move up, make sure they stay moving up. And if they roll over and get underneath moving averages, then you need to get out of these things. Yeah, so I guess that's, yeah, rollover. When I think of rollover, I mean like, I don't know, like a dog rolling over. Yeah, so I want the market to move up, or rolling over means, yeah, it's going to roll over and go down. So downtrend. So I guess that's some of our lingo that we have out there. And never a stupid question, because we always need to make sure that we understand people's terms that they use. I might, like trampoline move, what the heck does that mean? That's why I always try and explain it when I say things like that. Then RKT, I'm not sure I know what this, is this rocket? Okay, I was thinking rack space, but that's RXT. Not really seeing much either here. I don't trade earnings, this is why. And so far it is trying to find a bottom here and trying to hold the 15-minute 50, but I'm not seeing a whole lot of strength in the MOXY indicator, and you still have got a lot of work to go through on the hourly chart with that 8 and 21. There's potential, but it's going to need some more time. I'd really wait until you can confirm when price at least follows the 15-minute 50, and then you'd want the 8 to get over the 21 on the hourly chart. So window, you're going to need a little bit more time on this one. Alright, well that does it for my session. Let's kind of look back here. And remember, if you guys are enjoying these kind of videos and you want to be notified and know when they pop up and not just have to, set your alarm clock, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and that way we can get into these things and you can follow along and be notified. Alright everyone, take care. I'm going to be seeing what we can do for the rest of the week. And yeah, remember, if you want to find out more about me, come over to profitpilot.com and you can check around, bop around over there. Alright everyone, take care.